Good evening, everybody. It is Randy Ray, the literate Texan, coming back at you from Driftwood Ranch. It's Tag Tuesday, and I'm going to do the Get to Know Your Booktuber Tag, which I found on Man with a Hat Who Reads. We have a lot in common because I often wear hats in my videos too. And he was tagged by Ginger Bibliophile. I'm not sure if she's the originator of the tag or not, but I'll put links to both of them in the little description thingy. But let's get right into it. Questions. Number one, what's your channel about? My channel is about books. Generally speaking, books that I like, books that I plan to read, books that I have read, and, whatever else I feel like talking about. Number two, how old are you? I turned 53 in February. 3, relationship status. I am divorced and single, ladies. Number 4, did you go to college and what's your current job? I went to college. I went to the University of North Texas in Denton, Texas. I graduated with an English degree in 1993. My current job, I'm self-employed. I do search engine marketing for a living, and I'm kind of just a general gadfly too. Number 5, where are you from and where do you live now? I grew up in Bonham, Texas. Well, I was born in Omaha, Nebraska. When I was 3 days old, I moved to Bonham, Texas, which is a small town about 10 miles south of the Red River, practically in Oklahoma. It's in northeast Texas. And Bonham is probably most famous for being the home of Sam Rayburn, who was Speaker of the House for an ungodly amount of time, and was generally well liked by everybody. And then I live now in Denton, Texas, which is where I went to school. I didn't move to college and stay here. I moved around a little bit, but I've always lived in Texas. And Denton, Texas is great. There's 2 universities here, the University of North Texas, UNT, and TWU, Texas Women's University, which is where my daughters are going to school. 6, what would you tell your 10-year-old self? I would tell me that it wasn't my fault. And I'm not going to get into too much more than that. But I might also suggest to read a few more books. Number 7, tell us about your family. Well, let's see here. Depends on what direction you want to go, doesn't it? I have 3 kids. A son who's 28 years old and twin daughters who are 20 years old. And none of them live with me, but they all live here in town with me, and I try to see them as often as I can. I grew up in Bonham, Texas, where I was raised by my mom and dad, who stayed married until my mom died in 2000. They were married for 41 years. They were older than the traditional parent in Bonham, Texas. I think they had me when they were 33 years old. And what else do you want to know about my family? I've got a brother and a sister. Actually, I've got a bunch of brothers and sisters. I was adopted, and my birth mother had a bunch of kids, not all of whom were raised by my mom and dad, who raised me and the brother and sister that I was raised with. But I'm not sure what the count is, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I asked my dad, I met my birth mother in Reno in the year 2000. We had lunch at Planet Hollywood, and she was a delightful woman, notorious drunk, much like myself. And so, we got along pretty fast because we had that in common. But I asked her how many brothers and sisters I had, and she responded that she didn't really remember. So, okay, after she left, I asked my dad, I said, is she just embarrassed about how many kids she had that she didn't raise? Or does she really not remember how many of us there are? And he just shook his head and he said, son, I really think she's serious. I don't think she remembers how many of all there were. But one of my brothers is in France. He sells antique pianos. Lovely man, actually older than I am. We've never met in person, but we've communicated a lot online. And he has done a lot of research into our family tree and knows way more about, my particular branch of the family than anyone else. My brother, sister, and I, and my mom and dad grew up 2 blocks from my grandmother's house. She was a delightful woman, about 4'10". I walked to her house almost every morning in the summer because it was only 2 blocks away, and she made me pancakes, and we watched The Price is Right and then The Young and the Restless. And usually I would leave her house and walk down to the library and check out a bunch of books, walk home, and then read all day long. Number 8, what's your favorite holiday? I like Christmas. I always have. I like Christmas movies. My mom worked really hard at making Christmas special for us kids. That was her favorite holiday too. And not too long ago, my dad died. And at the funeral, my dad's best friends told me that my mom always, the Christmas cards from my mom were always the first Christmas cards they got every year. I guess she sent them out right after Thanksgiving or something. I don't know. I don't know when you send out Christmas cards. I don't send out Christmas cards anymore. Number 9, what's your dream vacation? Golly, I haven't really thought about that. I really love Las Vegas. So my dream vacation would probably involve winning big money in Las Vegas. But yeah, going anywhere now would be nice. In 2010, I went to the very first Turner Classic Movie Film Festival, which was a really great vacation. The only thing I didn't like about it was we decided to drive out there from Texas, and it was a long drive. It was a good 24 hours to get to Hollywood. But boy, did we have a good time. So something involving classic movies, books, maybe something to do with Shakespeare would be my dream vacation these days. Would definitely want my daughters along with me. Number 10, what's your biggest pet peeve? I don't have a lot of pet peeves anymore. I've kind of let go of all the stuff that used to make me angry, or tried to anyway. Excuse me. It's one thing to not let people push your buttons, but it's something else entirely to not have any buttons to push anymore, and I've worked really hard at that. So, but if I had to pick a biggest pet peeve, it's people who make a commitment and then back out. A lot of ethics is pretty simple. Tell the truth and keep your promises, right? Number 11, what book changed your life? The Lord of the Rings changed my life because it made me realize that I could read long books that weren't necessarily easy and enjoy them and get a lot out of them. Number 12, what simple invention changed the world? Well, there's been a lot of simple inventions that changed the world, but, I'm going to agree with Erma Bombeck. I don't know if anybody remembers Erma Bombeck or not, but Erma Bombeck was a humorist who wrote a whole lot of books. One of them was called If Life's a Bowl of Cherries, Why Am I Always in the Pits, or something to that effect. Anyway, I agree with her. The really, really significant invention was air conditioning. Number 13, favorite TV show and movies. Well, let's just talk about what I'm watching. Okay, favorite TV show of all time? Moonlighting from the 80s. Bruce Willis, Sybil Shepherd. Terrific show. Absolutely loved it. Favorite TV shows that I'm watching now? Succession on HBO, I think, is the best written show on television at the moment. Barry is really terrific. Fatal Attraction, I think, is on Paramount Plus, and it is a guilty pleasure, and I sure do like it. Recently, I watched a miniseries called The Offer, which was about the making of The Godfather, which was a terrific show. I was really, really thrilled with it. In terms of favorite movies, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, Casablanca, The Shawshank Redemption, Bull Durham, Hoosiers, Rocky, all the Rocky movies, in fact. Number 14, describe yourself with 3 fictional characters. Okay, I'm probably a combination of Gandalf. I hate to plug anything that has to do with Charles Bukowski because I think he's terribly overrated, but there's a little bit of Henry Chinaski here in old Randy Ray, and maybe some Sherlock Holmes. 15, dream job. I don't know. I kind of have my dream job right now. Search engine marketing's been very, very good to me, and I really enjoy it. I can't think of anything I would like better. Maybe I'd make a good librarian, but I'd rather read books than put them on shelves, You don't get to just read all day if you're a librarian. That's a common mistake, I understand. Number 16, what's the first spell you would learn if magic was real? Can I say magic missile? Do we have any D&D fans in the audience? I would probably pick a spell that would help me read foreign languages, or maybe an invisibility spell, something like that. Number 17, favorite childhood memory. Going fishing with my dad was my favorite childhood memory. Also, those breakfasts at my grandmother's house. Those are my two favorite childhood memories. Number 18, favorite social media. I think YouTube counts. And it's my favorite now because I enjoy making these videos and making friends with all my fellow booktubers. But aside from that, Instagram. I don't much like Twitter anymore, and I don't really like Facebook much anymore. Had this conversation today, in fact, with my good friend Michael, about how when they improve, quote unquote, improve social media like Twitter or Facebook, they're not improving it for me, okay? Because I'm not their customer. You're not their customer, okay? They want you to think that you're the customer at Facebook and Twitter, but you're not. You're the product. Your eyeballs are the product. Their customers are their advertisers. So when they improve these social media channels for their customers, they're improving them for the advertisers, not you. What they're doing is they're systematically destroying your attention span, and they're also getting you addicted to them in much the same way that you get addicted to slot machines. And those process addictions are real addictions, every bit as real as any kind of chemical dependency. Don't let anybody tell you any different. 19, what fictional character would you like to bring to life? Wow. That's a good one. I'm going to come back to that. Number 20, favorite animal. Well, his name is Brock. He's my dog. Number 21, what old person behavior do you have? All my behavior is old person behavior. Get off my lawn, you kids. My ex-wife used to tell me I was a curmudgeon. She said, I don't like watching Curb Your Enthusiasm because you're just like Larry David. But maybe I'm Larry David with a East Texan accent. Number 22, hidden talent. Oh, believe me, none of my talents are hidden. Most of the stuff that I'm good at isn't because of talent anyway. It's because of determination and skill. I think a lot of people credit talent for things that are actually learned skills that people put a lot of effort into learning to do. You know, I'm a really good juggler, surprisingly enough. I don't think anybody knew that about me. And, you know, I'm a good writer, but those are things that I didn't necessarily have an innate talent for. You know, I just learned how to do them. I play guitar, I sing, not particularly good at either, but I'm a lot better than I was when I started 8 or 9 years ago. Number 23, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Well, I'd like to see myself alive and well and out of debt and fit and healthy. It's a long shot. Number 4, show an item and describe its significance. Okay, now this is kind of an interesting little book here because it's the only hardcover book I own which does not have a dust jacket. And I don't normally buy hardcover books without dust jackets, but this one is Alfred Hitchcock Presents Stories for Late at Night. And I bought this for, I guess, $3, maybe $1.50. I think I got it at a thrift shop. I don't really remember where I got this. But my mom collected these Alfred Hitchcock Presents books. The one I remember the most was Alfred Hitchcock Presents Stories That Scared Even Me, which I just thought was a terrific title. At any rate, it's significant because I'm participating in Horror Mayhem this month, and I'm focusing largely on horror short stories, and this is going to be a source of great horror stories that I didn't have on my original TBR, but here's some of the stuff I've got to look forward to here. It's A Good Life by Jerome Bixby. It'll be fun to revisit that. The Whole Town's Sleeping by Ray Bradbury. Don't know what that's about, but I like the title, and I like Ray Bradbury. There's The Sound Machine by Roald Dahl. Okay, great. And they haven't even managed to turn loose their sensitivity editors on this one because this came out probably in 1960 or something like that. But The Ash Tree by M.R. James, notoriously good ghost story writer. Second Night Out, Frank Belknap Long. I mean, there's just a lot of good stuff in here to look forward to reading to, even though the copy of the book isn't very nice. Okay, so I'm supposed to go back to what fictional character would you like to bring to life? I really like the character of Captain James T. Kirk. That'd be kind of cool. Bring him to life. Another fictional character that might be fun to bring to life. I just had an idea and then it just floated away. That happens to me a lot these days. So it's a side effect of the cancer I have and the cancer medications that I'm on. And then as far as tagging people, I'm going to tag Steve Donahue, who claims that no one ever tags him. So I'm going to tag him. And I'm going to tag Michael K. Vaughn. I don't know if he does tags or not, but he is getting tagged. And then I'm going to tag Rachel from Moonlight Library. And anybody else who wants to do this, you know what? Consider yourself tagged too. And I'm going to wrap this one up because I've been talking for quite a while now. But thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon.